Welcome to the show. I'm Mary Goulet. I am so excited. Some of you may remember me from Momstown. And this journey of Go With Your Gut, I've been on longer than I had been on with Momstown. Just Momstown took on so much momentum, and I had two little kids. My daughter Portia's here in studio with me now, almost 12. It's amazing. So this is the second edition of Go With Your Gut. It's a very pithy book, you could say. I'm not a, this is so straightforward that once you learn it, all you have to do is reinforce it. And there are very key things about this topic that you'll want to learn, and I've taught you some in the first two segments. In this one, I want to introduce a couple of things. So we left off the last segment with the convertible, where the ego likes to be the driver, the heart likes to just feel good about listening to the country music, and then the gut says, go where I tell you to go, because I'm going to take you in your life where you really want to be, not where you really think you want to be. So let's give less lip service to our thoughts and more to our instincts and our own knowingness in life. I know you said, I just knew that was going to happen. And it might be for someone else. Oh, I saw that train wreck coming. So we have a knowingness. We don't need all the minutiae, all the details, everything that's going to be what gives the ego comfort. The ego likes to check off all the things on its list and say, okay, now I'm safe. Now everything is going to work out perfectly because I put everything in place. But sometimes some of the most awesome opportunities and experiences and people that have come into our life came just because we were in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, and we didn't have an attachment to it. And I think that's the toughest thing about moving forward in life, achieving what we want, is recognizing where we have our attachments and our agendas. Because once we create an agenda, that is the ego's green light to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And if you have an attachment to an outcome, you're limiting all the possibilities in your life, because becoming fixated on what you think you want. And there have been many books written on, if you don't know what you want, how are you going to get there? And I offer up to people, if you're not clear on what you want, then at least be clear about what you don't want. And make that list. So that when you see it approaching in your life, you're like, whoa, I don't want that again. Because we take the same job after job after job. We have the same kind of boss over and over and over. And then we get into we date the same girl or the same guy over and over and over again. And we've done that, it's just knee-jerk, because we've created such an intense habit of listening to our ego or our heart and not our gut. We do it all the time. We make bad investments, or we fall for the same kind of pitch, just a different person giving the pitch. And we're like, oh, I always fall for that. It sounds so glossy and pretty, and I want that in my life, but it always turns out to be too good to be true. So many of us have taken more years in a relationship we should not have been in, and we knew it. And we knew all along we shouldn't be in that relationship, but we fall prey to the stronger, our ego or our heart. And after a while, it's either taken from us, like, okay, you're done. The universe just says you're done. Or our gut says, really? You're going through this one more time? It's just going to be this, it's the same thing. So we can create our life the way we feel it to be inside. It's life and creativity and desire, and having an aspiration is not a mental process. So why would we attach a mental approach to something that is not a mental process? Because basically all it needs to do is we have to have what we know in our gut to be true, Okay, I know I'm supposed to be here. Then, what tasks go along with that? And just do the tasks. But don't let the ego dictate the tasks necessary. So, more on that. A lot of it is to get what we want, we have to be willing to let go of what we thought we wanted. So, the power of being willing is so huge because people consider it a loss. Okay, I'm willing not to have that. I'm willing not to go there. I'm willing, and they kind of get bummed about it. When you have success with willingness, you'll be thrilled at the next opportunity to be willing to do or not do something, because releasing that attachment, I swear, having attachment and an agenda throughout your day on any level, if it's a work-related, customer, client, relationship, child, hobby, ask for anything. If we have an attachment or an agenda and we rule it with our mental process, it's really going to be a struggle. It's like climbing uphill carrying a boulder. So really be willing to let some things kind of float in front of you. Identify what your gut thing is. So for instance, with radio show, I've been told, and I resist, I admit I'm human, I resist, I even admit, hey, I don't know, there's something bugging me, I'm just resisting doing something. And the radio show was a big thing for me, because go with your gut, I've been speaking on it, coaching people on it since 1997. Then I wrote my first book in 2004 because a friend of mine, Mark LeBlanc, said, you've got to do this. And then I started speaking on it, and I don't know why, just, to me, it's so, can be so pithy. You know, it's so succinct. You just have to learn about it. I thought, well, maybe, maybe not. And then I got sidetracked with Momstown. But I've always used this in my life. And I have two quotes on the back of the book. One from Mark LeBlanc, learning this process will change your life. And then my friend Terry Langhans, she was in many of the audiences that I spoke to on the topic of go with your gut. And she wrote, the whole world needs to hear this message, which is awesome. I was humbled because I believe that this material came through my knowingness, my gut instinct. It was not a mental process. What was a mental process was editing it. And that was the task. You know, sitting down, getting my butt in the chair and writing it out, this was the task. And it's a rich way to go throughout your life. It increases your faith in yourself, gives you more security and confidence when things are not completely spelled out or laid out for you on your journey, and you just, some things will happen. I know I'm going with my gut when I'm thinking of someone and they call me, or I post something online and people respond to it, or, you know, just when things start to go well and things that I might put out there and nothing happens, and I know I'm not trying to control the whole world and make my world be the only one that matters, the gut has a way of directing us. It has a way of saying, go here, go there. You know, I even would always say to people, if you have a bunch of errands to run, so you're like, okay, I'm going to make a bunch of right-hand turns. And then something tells you, no, go to the bank. You're like, well, that's out of the way. There's your ego. That's out of the way. That means I have to come back and I have to waste gas and, you know, I want to make sure it is. Go to the bank. So if you just stop and go, okay, fine, I'm going to the bank. So you go to the bank first. And you're like, why did I do that? There was nothing here for me. I didn't see anyone I knew. I didn't get any great idea. Then you go on and forget about it and go do your other errands in the order that you had them in. And as you're driving out of the last parking lot, you see someone that you hadn't been able to catch up to in a long time. You guys wave, you go, hey, call me, and there was a connection. So things like that need to be given a lot more import in your life. They have to be more important because we always look for the big splashy signs. And sometimes they happen. They might happen when you're first starting out with this process just to give you some juice to, hey, this does work. But then the majority of them are going to be the most subtle thing that you've ever heard, felt, or just knew. And when a person can know that sensation, you're going to have a life of fewer regrets and consequences. You're going to dodge a lot more bullets going with your gut, trusting your instinct and telling your mind, hey, don't worry, you get to drive, you get to do the task. Heart's going to be okay, we're going to feel good. It's all going to work out for everybody. Because life has so many different variables, you want to be stocked with the tricks of the trade on how to make decisions that you love. Okay, thank you for joining us on the Mary Goulet Show. We'll be right back. You're listening to WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.